This webinar is for information purposes only. It is not intended to be legal advice. We do not supply legal advice. If you require legal advice, please contact a qualified legal professional. All information in this webinar is private. All results can be different, and your actions or results are your own responsibility. We cannot be held responsible for other people's actions and or results. Hey everyone, Peter Wilson here again. Now, I just want to do a little video and discuss, not discuss, but like explain a little bit of what my thoughts are about Nesara and Gesara. I've had a lot of questions lately about it, and like, you know, how will it affect this? How will it affect that? What about, you know, becoming sovereign, and if this happens and whatnot, and the next thing. Now, the thing is, when you're listening to other people talk about, and I'm talking about Nesara, Gesara, whatever you want to call it now, not what kind of might have happened in a different time, you know, in 1963 or in 1999 or whatever it was, right? I'm not talking about that, all right? That's like historic stuff. I'm talking about how things are happening now, what is happening to us now, and how we can help ourselves now and in the future, no matter what happens. So everyone has a different opinion, right? But I tell you what it is now, when you listen to some people who've got, like, you know, a lot of followers, or say they've got a lot of followers, and they're putting these videos up and everything like that, and they're saying, like, you know, everything's going to be roses, and, you know, these fairies are coming with pots of gold, and they're all going to be rich, and no one's going to have to work. All right, everyone has to like make their own minds up, you know. But the way I look at it is I cannot see, like, you know, any knight in shining armor apart from myself, who is going to help me. All right, no matter what I'm doing, I always like put myself in a mental state, you know, like surround myself like spiritually and mentally with like bright shining armor to protect myself from all the negativity that's out there, and from all of the other people out there that are saying and doing bad things, you know, on all sorts of government levels as well as just ordinary people. But, you know, hey, I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And the ones that even say all these things about Nesara, Gesara, and blah, 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 and all these people that are not presidents but could be presidents and all of that stuff, all right, they always say, we don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows. And that's a fact. It's like nobody knows anything. And I might be saying this could possibly happen, that could possibly happen. But I'll tell you what is happening now is that we are being put through hell. Okay? We are being pressured on every angle you can imagine. So I think it's vitally important to start protecting yourself now, because I can only see them trying to push harder. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to fail, and that you're going to have other people from our side and our perspective. You know, I've got high hopes for people like Dolores Cahill and that type of thing. You know, they've already set up their own medical council that's going to be like fighting the other medical people. So they're saying, well, you know, it doesn't matter what you say. This is the medical council now. I can't see there being a split in society, and they're going to be having run two societies type of thing. Whereas you choose which medical council you want to be with. I'm certainly never going into any hospital that's got NHS written on it. If anything happens to me, I tell you what it is, I'm just going to crawl up in a little lump and let myself die, because I don't want to go anywhere near these people. All right? They're just, like, the whole thing is corrupt beyond description. Okay? Now, because of this, and all the other things, and there's a lot of words we're not allowed to say and can't say, you know, you just get like blocked and banned and everything like that. But the proof is obviously of what we're going through now, and we have to try and protect ourselves. So sovereignty to me is the way of doing it. All right, now there's loads of different groups out there that say there's different ways of doing it, and you know, and there is, I don't know like how successful certain groups are, but we have to try. Okay, and push hard. So we've done our documentation thing where we've sent it off there, like, you know, declaring our status, and we've done it internationally and nationally. Okay, the way that I mean that is like on the international basis, we've done it on a UCC, okay, which covers the entire planet, and it does. All right, it's got the offices everywhere, but it's a statement of international, okay, and we're saying point blank that we are not a full capitalized corporation name. And then we do it as well to a national level. So we send it to, like, you know, well, being from the UK, you're going to send it to our Prime Minister, which at the minute, you know, is Doris. But, and then obviously all the people that we've got and all the different levels of government that we start off with, and then we go down to the low levels and the local levels and, you know, and that type of thing. But, you know, and it's to declare that we are a living person, a living soul, not a person. That's exactly what we're not. We're not a person, because a person is a corporation, right? We're a living soul. We're a living flesh and blood, man or woman. And we have to send these documents off so that they can be recognised and not rebutted. It's an affidavit, and it's in affidavit form. And an affidavit that is not sent back and rebutted is a fact in law, and it's accepted as a fact in law, and has to be, and it is the law. It's the law of the land wherever you live. Legum terrae, they call it in England. That is the law of the land. But that goes right the way across. You got to think. So, say for instance, you know, in the US. Whoops, I'm knocking my camera off. In the US, they have the Constitution, but that was created from the Magna Carta of 1215. So it's the same thing that's been moved over and then adapted to that particular circumstance. And then if you look and say for Australia, New Zealand, Canada, you're in the Commonwealth. All right, and now that still comes under the Queen, it still comes under the Royal, which means it's still under the Magna Carta. Now, forget anything about a government being sovereign. A government, they're not even a real government to start with, and no corporation can say they're sovereign because they're not even real. They're not alive. Right? You can only be sovereign if you have life. So to have life, you must live, breathe, have flesh and blood. A corporation hasn't got flesh and blood. A corporation is a dead entity, and they keep trying to tell you you're a dead entity. Right, which is why you full capitalize your name to say, and then try and trick you into saying, "Is this you?" And it's not you, right? And they don't show you it. That's why you always say, like, if anyone says, "Is this you?" say, "Show me the document," and then you can see that it's not written correctly, and it'll not be you. So you say, "That is not me. I am man. I am man." Okay, so but anyway, so what I'm saying is getting carried away. Sovereign, when they're saying they're sovereign, and they say it, I've seen it written, I've heard it in speeches, they are not sovereign whatsoever, and never will be, never can be. They are a corporation, a private corporation for profit. The same as all the police, the same as all of the courts. Right, if you look at Halesbury's Laws of England, I think I've put a little snippet up on our group, and it states point blank that administration courts are not have no legal standing. It's a magistrates court that have no legal standing whatsoever. They cannot be legal, they cannot be sovereign. All right, they're talking about dealing with a live man and woman, living, breathing man and woman. We are sovereign, and they can't deal with us. This is how we have to separate ourselves, because this situation is going to get tougher. That's my thought. I'm looking at what they're trying to do. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not saying that whatsoever, right? But I'm not going to wait to see what happens, right? I'm not going to wait to see if, like, all of a sudden, you know, everything changes and, like, you know, the age of Aquarius falls upon us. Everybody's, like, you know, with the power of the feminine, and, you know, everybody loves everybody else, and, you know, we've got nothing to worry about ever. That would be great. You know, praying for it. But listen, like belt and braces. Okay, you have your braces on, keep your trousers up, which is an English term. I know if you're not English. And a belt around your waist as well. So you've got two ways of keeping your pants up. Okay. So, like, hey, it might happen, and it would be great if it did. But, like, prepare for it not to happen. So make yourself separate from that corporate fiction, which you are not. Right? Now, and then if they try to come at you with acts, okay, and these rules and the statute legislation, then it doesn't apply to you because you are a living man or woman. You are not a corporation, and you are not employed by a corporation like them, which is what they try and say. It's tacit agreement, tacit consent, and you've consented because you're there. Hang on, no, you don't just agree to like obey all of these ridiculous rules. They're not laws, rules, all right? Because you're in that particular country, you have to have a contract. Everything in life is a contract. Every single thing and every single part of this living part of it is a contract. And they're trying to contract with you, and they're trying to say they have tacit consent from you, and they do not. So don't take that BS from them, because there is no tacit consent from you. And now if you've done the paperwork correctly as well, and you've done the stuff that I'm saying, the rescind all signatures, which breaks all contracts, all right? And you're not trying to be a driver with you the driving license, right? Because you're a traveller, okay? So you're allowed by the law of the land to travel freely. It actually states on your passport to be travelling unhindered, okay? If you still have a passport, have a look at it. It's at the front, near the front, first page or whatever, somewhere there, and it says under Her Majesty's permission, you are allowed to travel unhindered. It actually states it on there. So you can travel on the roads without having to, because you're not under the Acts of Parliament. You're a traveller, not a driver. A driver is someone who's driving for commerce, trying to make money by being on the road. Taxi drivers, lorry drivers, bus drivers, that type of thing. But if you're just trying to get from A to B, even if you're driving to work, you're still not like making money by doing it. So you're not a driver. You're a traveller driving to work. You're not. You're travelling. Anywhere you go, travelling. A to B, to work or back, travelling. And you have the right to travel unhindered. So take your passport everywhere, and everyone's giving you hassle. Show them it, right? The clowns in costumes stopping you. Show them it. Unhindered travel, okay? And it is a law, but they just always try and hide it. And everything that they're trying to do is just trying to take money off you with these fines, all right? Now, I've just put, I don't know if I put it up in the group or not, but so I think somebody else did as well, but like, it's saying about like all of these fines that begin with the Charlie, Oscar, Victor, India, Delta stuff. All right, if you spell that out properly on the phonetic alphabet, I don't want to be saying these words. All these fines and that just got sent back, you know, because it's all illegal. Everything that they're trying to do is illegal, and that's in their eyes illegal, unlawful, 100%, 100% unlawful. But it's also illegal even in their realm. Okay. So this is what I'm saying now, right? Now, I'm not saying that these Nesara Gesara rules won't come in, and if it does, great, you know, send me the fairies with the pots of gold. Fantastic, you know what I mean? I'll sit there and, like, you know, no one works for the rest of their lives and all that stuff. Be cool. But what I'm doing is preparing for, like, how to survive now. So, you know, we had said it before, and I did it. I can't remember if I put the video up and I was showing you the silver. We've been investing in these silver coins, and you get 1 ounce coins. I got some of them I got from the United States, some of them I got from United Kingdom, just because I just wanted different things on. I've got these Aztec ones, and, you know, but it's all 1 ounce of silver. And the reason why I've got gold as well, but the reason why I got silver is because, you know, when we're listening to the experts that are doing these investments, and I'm talking about the work for companies and the work on the stock exchange and everything like that. It's nothing to do with me. I don't know anything. I just listen to them and I do what I think could be okay. So we buy these silver coins. Now, the reason why we do it is because I want to protect myself if something happens in the future. And a lot of these other experts are saying that this fiat currency is going to completely collapse and disappear overnight. You know? And you could see something like that happening, you know? You could just see them just literally press a button, boom, switch it off. So, like, you know, like your banks are all gone literally overnight. You know, back in the day when we had all the trouble with the property and we lost over $1 million worth of property, like in a day, really, you know, and the banks were shut down. Now the banks up here, the local banks that we've got, called, I think it was called Northern Rock, might have been, but one of them anyway. and they had queues of people queuing up outside wanting to go and take the cash out. But we've got to remember, there is no cash inside of a bank. There might be a few £100 in the machine. You go in and put your money, what are they called again? ATMs. But that's it. You know, they don't have vaults with money in anymore like they used to be. Like, you know, when you see them like going and robbing the bank in the cowboy films and stuff like that, and all the money's flying everywhere. They have virtually no money whatsoever. So if, like, you know, a couple of hundred of you queue up and you want to say, I want £500 out, they wouldn't have any money. So when they're doing these loans, this is how we know it's all fraud, and mortgages, it's all fraud, because they haven't got any money to lend. They've got nothing. Okay, but they could do that. And you imagine if they'd done that and they switched all that off like that, and then overnight all the bank accounts closed, these people were queuing up for money and they didn't get any. And then, oh, we'll give you compensation, but we'll only give you a certain percentage of what you had in. So if you had your savings in, you lost it. So, you know, that's, you know, you have to use banks to pay things and stuff like that, but you got to try and do like think outside the box as well, if you want to come with stupid terms, but think laterally in different ways. And, you know, so we have silver as well. So what would happen if things did go like that bad? Then you would at least have, like, you know, stuff to barter with. Alright, so, like, you know, silver. So you could be exchanging it for goods or stuff like that. That's why I don't buy the big bars, because you can still get them for reasonable prices, but you can't gold, because thousands upon thousands. But, you know, a silver bar is only about 3,000 or 4,000. I can't remember what it is now. But if it went crazy like it did and the prices leapt like what some of these people are saying, that bar would be worth over $1 million. What are you going to do with it? You can't walk down, can I have a pint of milk, please? Change that. You know, but if you have the 1 ounce coins, you can do stuff with, you know, I think anyway. But it's just a defense mechanism, self-defense, really, against what would happen if the things go the way that they could go. Like, well, what they're doing to us, they are doing it. We know it. We've been through 18 months of sheer crap, and it's not going to get better fast. If you look at the clowns that we've got that are shouting this out, you know, in the UK, for instance, you know, we the words that they come up with, you know, if it's not one, it's another, so it's a different one. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't want to say the words, but we've had it from Brazil, South Africa, Kent. We even had one from Kent, which is a county in the, you know, so they've got one from Kent that just developed in Kent. It's mental. You know, so now they're saying it's from India and it's going to kill everyone. So they're not giving up, is what I'm saying. Okay, so my business was closed down for a year, and it's difficult when you're dealing with a children's kind of type business. That everyone was terrified. They're not going to. So it's hard to fight. I don't know how it's going to progress going through, but you have to, like, look at other things and think of other things. Alright, you can't be relying on other people all the time. We all have to work in communities and help each other and everything like that. But what you cannot do is sit back and wait for someone to come and rescue you, because it's not going to happen. Alright, the only rescue you're going to get is by yourself and through God, Yahweh, and that's it. Alright, that's sort of, you know, and if it does happen and then hallelujah, everyone's saved, then great. But, like, don't leave it to other people. Get yourself sovereign. Get yourself protected. Separate yourself from that straw man. Separate yourself from that legal fiction, that corporation name. So we've got, like, loads of people that are trying to help each other doing it in the groups and on the website and stuff. So have a look at it and speak to other people on there. It isn't just me. There's loads of people now, and they're all trying it and all doing different levels and everything like that. And some of them are getting advanced and some of them are learning more. And on the site that, you know, we're putting more information up and we're studying more all the time about, like, the mortgages, how to get rid of mortgage, protect your mortgages, how to get rid of this unsecured debt, accept for value, stuff like that. But you're dealing with corrupt corporations and fraud, so that's what we try and help with as well. But also other areas that we're trying to do research into, like, you know, property taxes, council taxes, that type of thing. So if you want to protect yourself from them, then you have to separate yourself completely from your legal fiction. And there's ways of doing it, and there's ways of not doing it right. So, you know, have a look in the description. We're going to have the group in there. I think the website will be in there. Go on the mailing list so we can send you out information as well. You know, we just have to try and look after each other, I think, more than waiting on something coming like Nesara Gesara, because we don't know if it's going to happen or not. I don't know. And it might. It's great, and I hope so, you know, too, right? But we have to look at other things and other ways of doing it as well. Okay? So, in my opinion, I think we should always have our eyes wide open and be looking at what's happening all around and preparing ourselves and protecting ourselves. Definitely, you know, it's where we're looking at trusts, putting everything we own and all our family in trusts and setting up legal trusts, all right, which I think is a very important thing to be doing as well, because all the rich and the wealthy, they've been using trusts forever. So when they're swapping their properties and these huge mansions coming in and moving it, it's like they said, what do you call them? The Rockefellers, right? Own nothing but control everything. So you're inside the trust, and the trust owns all of the property, but they don't pay any tax on it because it's owned inside the trust. And they have to do it legally and correctly, all right? And then you can be protected the same way as they are. And that's what we'll have to look. So I'm getting more and more information on trusts. I've got my trust set up already. We're all in the trust. Everything property-wise, all in the trust. Even the cars are all in the trust. So, you know, you've got to be like looking at these things. Now, I don't know that much about them yet to like be able to give you advice or anything, but we are looking at it to try and get more so we can provide more help and information on that type of thing. But it's all about protecting ourselves from the enemy. As far as I'm concerned, it's the enemy. You know, the clowns in costumes and these people that come up with these sets of rules and all of that stuff. You know, so we have to like put our armor on against them. So anyway, I just thought I would like, you know, because I've got so many questions on that and saying, well, it's going to be okay. Do you think it's going to be okay? Nobody knows anything that's going to happen, right? We have a crystal ball. We have one. But it hasn't told me anything yet. All right. So we have to like prepare and look after ourselves. I'm not saying it's not going to be great, you know, hopefully it will, and, you know, everything will be fantastic, but get ready for it. Even if it does do that, it's going to take a long time to sort it out, and you're still going to need to be separated from your legal fiction. That's not going to go away, and it's definitely not going to go away overnight. You know, you're going to have to work hard and make sure that you keep yourself as a sovereign, and then, like, what do they call it again? Correct your status, so that you're not a corporation. You are, like on the affidavit of non-corporate status, correct your status or status, whatever you want to pronounce it. That's part of that we send in, okay? And it tells them that you're an affiant because it's an affidavit, and that you are not a legal fiction, you are not an ens legis, you know, and it states all these, and this is on an affidavit type where they have to rebut it, and if they don't rebut it, it becomes a fact in law. A fact in law. So that's why we do it that way, and then we send the documents off, and it helps separate us legally from our status as what they're trying to say, that we are a corporation when we're not. You know, I can feel myself. If I cut my finger the other day when I was making my juice, like sliced it off, there was blood all over the oranges, so I fed them to the dogs. Didn't fancy that, but you know, and I was bleeding, so I know I'm alive. All right, so a few of the details are in there about the website and everything, and subscribe if you like what you see. Don't if you don't. Take care everyone, and we will see you later.